Hiya, I'm just going to do a short video tutorial about how to plant a tree. I'm using a small tree which I've just bought online, but the same principles apply to a large tree at all, because once you've got the principle there, it's all a matter of scale. So I've dug the hole already, so you didn't have to watch me boringly dig a hole. Square hole, round hole, it's totally up to you. There's no clear-cut science about whether the benefits of a circular hole over a square hole, and gardeners will argue themselves to blue in the face to decide which. I personally go with a square hole just because spades are square and it's just easy to dig. It's a square hole and it's about a third wider than the root ball. That gives it enough room for the new soil to expand and the roots to go out. So once you've dug your hole, next point is to actually look at your tree, because there are a couple of important features that you need to look at the rootstock before you plant it. So it's always worth just getting the plant out and studying it. First thing you want to do is look for the flare. And the flare of any tree is that point where it bulges out and sort of curves out towards the roots. This is very important for trees because that is the weakest point for diseases and pests to attack the tree. And so you need that above the ground. If it's below the ground, it'll get wet and the liquid bacteria and the fungus will go inside it. So most good nurseries will have the flare at basically the level where the pot is. But you can't always trust good nurseries, so it's worth just peeling it back, looking for it, and having a good see. Now, I don't know if you can see that on the video, but my flare was just about 3 centimetres below where the soil was, so I'm just going to peel away the roots and expose that, and that'll be the level which I'll plant the tree. Whilst you're doing this, it's also worth to flare out the roots at the bottom of the root ball. If you don't do this, the roots have a tendency just to continue to grow and turn and twist themselves around the compost that they've been growing in. They love the compost, they want to keep it in there. The soil that you're planting in, it might be really horrible stuff, so they have a tendency to go where it's nice, so they'll stick there, the roots won't expand out, and the tree will be weak. So, give the root ball a nice tickle. Don't worry if you're losing some compost, you're putting it in brand new soil, so that's right, and sort of tease out some of these roots, get them all now loose, and then all that wonderful roots are now going to head out in all directions and really give this new tree the best start in its world. Time to plant. So I've put the plant into the hole, to the tree in the hole, and I've levelled it off to make sure that flare, as you can see, is going to be level with the soil. Rule of thumb, better to plant it too high than too low. And once that's in place, all it's a simple matter of then is backfilling the soil, holding it to make sure it's still in place in the right position, pushing the soil down, and then kneeling it with a foot. Really getting it, making sure that flare is level with the ground that you're going to finally live in. And there we go. And that's when, also remember, when your trees, you're planting for the future, so you want that stem to be as straight as possible. So that's when you do a bit of tinkering to make sure that when it does grow, it's going to go nice and straight, because there's nothing worse than looking at a tree in 20 years' time, realising if I spent a bit of time planting it, it wouldn't look so wonky. And there we go, first tree planted. And of course the final stage is to give it a good drink. Even if it's a wet day, make sure you water it in, because this removes all the air pockets and washes the soil in onto all the gaps. Let the water drain. And then we do some Perfect. Now this is obviously scalable up to bigger trees. I'm going to keep the bamboo cane in as protection, but bigger trees you would obviously get some stakes and stuff like that. Same principles apply though, just on a bigger scale.